Many thanks for the intro. So it's my great pleasure here to present EthStorage, how we are able to build a storage layer on top of Ethereum so that we are able to serve new applications, especially fully on-chain AI. So a quick intro of myself. I've been in the crypto space for about 7 years. Before that, I was got a PhD and worked in a large company in Silicon Valley, and also actively in Ethereum ecosystem, co-author and author a couple of EIPs. Recently, for example, 79007 tries to remove the 24 kilobytes limits of the smart contract, so that we are able to deploy much more complicated logic on top of Ethereum. So my particular interest is in Ethereum data availability and also layer 2 technologies. Received a couple of grants from EF and also OP, including personal grants from Vitalik and also EthStorage itself. So first question, why we need a Ethereum storage layer? What's the purpose? So as we all know that after EIP 4844, we introduced a new object in Ethereum. It's called binary large objects, for short BLOB, which aims to scale Ethereum block space so that we are able to serve, for example, the block space growth demand of all layer 2, especially like these days, like Base, Optimism, Arbitrum, they are hungry for this space. However, this creates new issues of where to store this data. For example, right now, for current EIP 4844, it's able to generate about 2 terabytes of space that supposed to be exhaust all the 6 blobs in each block in Ethereum. But in the future of the Ethereum upgrade, for example, for Costar, it's going to increase this number significantly, which will increase to 10 terabytes per year, or even 20 terabytes per year, so that we are able to serve more transactions of layer 2s. So the key question is now we are able to publish a large amount of data on Ethereum, but where to store the data? Because we know this will create significant burden for the nodes of Ethereum. Imagine if you run an Ethereum full node, you need to store 10 terabytes of data per year, and that is definitely unacceptable for the decentralized philosophy of Ethereum. So to address this problem, the protocol, Ethereum protocol, is that, hey, we will just store this data for a particular short period of time. For example, EIP 4444 that is planned to launch in a couple of months is going to remove the historical blocks for store in 1 year, older than 1 year. And another EIP 4844 that is even shorter is that, hey, we are going to prune the Ethereum the data that is the binary large objects in about 18 days, so that we can significantly lower the burden of running Ethereum full nodes. And so then the question is, where can I find the data if the data is discarded by the P2P network of the Ethereum nodes? And so this actually creates an opportunity that we can build on top of Ethereum by inspiring by existing, for example, proof of storage protocol, so that we are able to build called Ethereum Alliance storage layer, kind of using similar idea like layer 2, but instead of we try to scale Ethereum execution on off-chain execution like Subsyn is doing, we are actually would like to scale the Ethereum storage using similar idea called off-chain storage, but on-chain storage verification. So, for example, Paradigm also they also discover such kind of opportunity and say, hey, we really need to address this problem in a modular way. And that's the biggest motivation of EthStorage, is to build Ethereum's Alliance storage layer so that we are able to scale Ethereum storage capacity using Ether as the incentivization and also settlement layer by using advanced algorithm, especially based on the latest development of zk-SNARK, so that we are able to prove off-chain storage of those large binary objects, but without changing the current protocol level of the Ethereum. So it can be offer a de facto storage layer of Ethereum applications, for example, all those MIT images and also dynamic websites that we are able to create, now be able to directly using Ethereum to store this data, and also using EIP 4844 binary large objects to basically carry all this data. It can also enhance layer 2 security, especially all these layer 2s, they are now derive their state using Ethereum blob data, but if the data is discarded, they are not able to derive the current layer 2 state from genesis to now. And it has to rely on some assumption of there's at least one layer 2 node that is offering the latest correct state of the layer 2, where using our EthStorage layer, we are able to store all these blobs and help to secure all these layer 2 in a much better way. So, for example, all this OP stack, Tyco or Scroll, they are able to use our service to store all this historical data or historical layer 2 blocks. So, besides all this, there are also a couple of unique features that compared to existing popular projects like Filecoin, RV, because most common question asked, what's the difference there? So first of all, it brings minimum trust. All the data is published via Ethereum EIP 4844 transactions, so we do not require additional protocol to, for example, upload this data. And we can guarantee every node, for example, every layer 2 our EthStorage nodes can see the data and be able to download data to their local storage. So we do not require called data bridge that sometimes is popular in order to basically bring the data to the corresponding storage node. And second is modular, so we do not require any protocol upgrade. Thanks to ZK Snark technologies, that we are able to verify all this off-chain storage and using the corresponding proof, and also it is a permissionless layer 2 storage network. You can imagine you're running a BitTorrent network, but instead of sharing the data to all the nodes voluntarily, and you are able to receive corresponding Ether as the reward once we run the node. So it will be able to encourage more nodes to run in the layer 2. And also, is able to scale the storage capacity greatly. So our target is to be able to achieve petabytes capacity. Right now, Ethereum capacity is about 1 terabyte, 2 terabytes, but we are able to scale 1,000x, and at the cost of 1 to the 1,000. So, and also there's a quick comparison of EthStorage versus existing projects like Filecoin and RV. So I would like to basically classify the differences in two aspects. One is that we are more working on the high-value hot storage versus Filecoin RV that are more working on the static cold storage data. And second thing is that we are highly Ethereum aligned, so you just need an Ethereum wallet to support EIP 4844 transactions. Now you are able to publish a large amount of data, for example, your website or NFT images using Ethereum transaction, sign a transaction, send to us, and everything just is done. And you don't need to extra token. For example, you just use Ether as your to pay your storage fee. And also you can use Ethereum development stack like smart contracts Solidity to program how to organize the storage data. So everything is building on top of Ethereum, so you try to minimize the user burdens and builder burdens to use our technologies. And also we developed called a Web3 Access Protocol so that we are able to enable a new interesting application on top of Ethereum. So what is Web3 Access Protocol? You can imagine you just turn Ethereum into a decentralized HTTP server so that now you're able to use smart contract to process how for example, the HTTP like request and how we response this request and how I'm be able to point to the corresponding data in EthStorage so that we can create a dynamic website. Like imagine you can create an on-site trades or on-site, on-chain forum using Web3 Access Protocol. And one biggest issue that we can help solve is the reason by the attack, because like all the data is stored using centralized servers, so we can easily suffer from single point failure. Now using Web3 Access Protocol, we are able to fully verify all the data on-chain and achieve the same liveness that Ethereum can bring us. That is significantly different compared to existing techniques like IPFS or centralized servers. And another innovation, and thanks to the support from Ethereum Foundation, is that how we are able to use smart contract to address two key problems. in the protocol design. One is how we are able to distribute the corresponding fee that we receive one time from the users, and then distribute over time to the storage providers, so that we are able to incentivize the storage providers to offer their storage space to store their user data. And second is how we are able to really verify these data are really stored, matches corresponding on-chain data hashes or block hashes. And so we need to using kind of a sampling technique and together with zk-SNARK to compress all this sampling procedure so that we can verify all this storage on-chain efficiently. And so here is a quick overview how the users will use this storage to store its data. So basically we have two components. One is the Ethereum layer 1, which accept the EIP 4844 transaction when the user would like to upload their data. So it just, as any wallets, as long as support EIP 4844, then is able to publish their data and on-chain and then be able to store in our network on-chain. And second is our layer 2 network. You can imagine it's kind of big torrent network, but instead of like sharing the data voluntarily, and you can receive any the corresponding incentive by running a node, and it's permissionless, so everyone can run the node as long as you have sufficient storage space. And the data will be copied to the storage providers, and so our node will basically download the data before it's expired by the Ethereum, and then download to the local space, and so that it can expecting to receive corresponding reward. And after the data is being maybe discarded by the Ethereum protocol in about 18 days, the data will still in our layer 2 network, and then all the nodes will basically keep constantly sample the data to make sure that it can able to solve kind of we call it storage puzzle. And then once the puzzle is solved, then it will just send to the smart contract and to collect corresponding reward in the unit of Ether, so that it can be rewarded according to their storage that contribute to the network. Okay, this is the general idea of EthStorage is doing. So right now we are entering in 2025. We have a testnet that is launched last year, and we also finished our first round audit. We are arranging the second round audit. And also, we are working on ideas called using EthStorage at layer 3, so that we are able to enjoy both the transactional gas savings of using existing layer 2 technologies, and also the layer 3 that as a for EthStorage, so that we are able to save the storage cost. So this is our layer 3 setup. So we're using Ethereum as our settlement layer, and then using OP stack that we are currently built on top of that, and so that we are able to enjoy the gas savings that the user once publish their transaction using, for example, block carry transactions on the layer 2, so that they are also save the gas. And lastly, the EthStorage will be layer 3, so that it will be able to incentivize storage layers on our layer 3, but also collect corresponding reward in the layer 2. So we can save this. In this way, we can significantly save both the transaction cost and also the storage cost for new Ethereum applications. So with all this, now we are expecting to enable a lot of new applications. Imagine all the existing Web 2 applications, which is too expensive, that running on top of Ethereum. Now I think it's possible. And for example, a very simple case is like we are able to easily build a fully on-chain decentralized social network or personal website on top of the Ethereum using all the Ethereum EIP 4844 transactions, style transaction, and then store on top of us and be able to access using our Web access protocol. So one experiment that we are doing is the Vitalik's personal blog. That is basically the website that we publish. And so basically all of now Vitalik blog we publish, and also we invite Vitalik to experiment the product, and he also give us some valuable comments. And so we expect one day when able to all the Web3 applications of a website should be able to have a way, especially Ethereum itself should have a way to self-sustain. For example, one crazy idea is that we are able to build a GitHub on top of Ethereum, thanks to all these technologies, so that now we can develop Ethereum on top of Ethereum. So I think some crazy idea is flying around, but love to see more crazy idea from you guys. So another direction we are experimenting is to build a fully on-chain AI, which means that the AI is able to fully autonomous on top of Ethereum network, both in terms of its model, both in terms of prompts, and also corresponding generated data. For example, generated images can be fully on-chain, especially using storage as the corresponding storage layer. And then, for example, we are also working with other team like for example Aura on the OPML, and also there's also a lot of progress that is towards the ZKML to be able to verify off-chain AI inference and also sometimes even chaining. Then with all this, we are imagining there's a lot of applications. For example, we recently integrate with ELISA OS, so that now user can just send a one-line sentence so that they can generate corresponding data with AI model that ELISA supports and submit corresponding result to EthStorage, and then everything is just like Web 2, but now you can verify all the data now is on chain. So many thanks for attending my today's talk. We would love to hear your feedback and also join our test network to experiment all these new crazy ideas. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me, and we would love to answer your questions. And hope we are able to build like new applications that are on top of Ethereum in a near short future. Yeah, thanks.